Shalum, Shalum and welcome. Welcome to the White Rose Family Channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening nation. Before I continue, let me say this. The views expressed in these messages do not necessarily reflect the owners, managers, and or shareholders and sponsors of this media platform. With that said, my name is Symmanayah, and I come to you, O set-apart children of Yashar'al, set-apart children of Yahuah, both Hebrews and Gentiles, blacks, whites, Hispanic, and many nationalities that are drawn by Yahuah to Yahusha, that are made one by the Spirit of Yahusha. Many have a hard time understanding how we are made one and cannot embrace it. But let me say this, O Yashar'al, so many stop when it talks about you're neither Jew nor Greek or Hebrew nor Goyim. It's saying the inward man has no nationality, save but to worship and obey the Almighty Father under the banner of Yashar'al. You see, in other words, I'm saying in terms of individual specific nationalities outside of what is written. The 12 tribes will be acknowledged, as mentioned in Revelation 7th chapter. A great multitude will be acknowledged. We will grow to know how we are made one by Yahushua. But we must not stop with nationality. We must go beyond that and look at the spirit of a man. For we are made one, as the scriptures describe and as it is written. Proof will come as this final exodus, as the countdown emerges. Unity will come for Yashar'al. In this segment, I want to present the issues of preparations and movement. My brothers and sisters, it's so easy to talk about leaving Babylon or the final exodus or Yahusha's physical return, but we fail to ask ourselves, what does that look like? What preparations and details, what processes must take place? I want to bring your attention to the realities. Movement will come. With earthquakes in diverse places, with meteors, with blood, rivers turning to blood, with famine and pestilence and disease. Do you not think such conditions will bring movement? Well, let's look at some realities. Here are my instructions, some instructions to you, O Yashar'al. Think about clothing. I want you to keep a long sleeve shirt or top in close proximity. Even if you're driving to work or going to and fro, if you have your own car, have a bag with at least a long sleeve shirt and long pants, for the weather conditions will vary as you find yourself being moved from one point to the next, as we begin to witness intermittent movement as we gather. And I believe on the Western Hemisphere, the gathering will take place in the state of Virginia. To the natives, they call it the Commonwealth of Virginia. And for those who are outside the Western Hemisphere, ultimately you will begin to migrate towards the borders of your country that points towards the promised land. Think about clothing. I would say to you who do not wear comfortable shoes to walk in, make sure you begin to have access some comfortable walking shoes or boots, preferably leather or water repellent. For there will be times of wetness, there will be times of dryness. As movement begins, we will transition to different climates. It's easier to roll up the sleeve of a top than to have a short sleeve and your sleeves are cold. I would recommend, my brothers and sisters, that you keep water close by, a bottle of water. Keep water. Now, of course, I do not want, nor do I encourage you to leave water in a hot vehicle, for the plastic will begin to heat up and leach into the water. But in your goings and comings, as end times ramp up, make sure you understand the importance of water for consumption. You need water more than food to survive. And then food. Do not gather and keep a lot of sweets or heavily salted foods, for this will make your thirst increase and you will consume the amount of water that you have and might find yourself dying of thirst. Now there will be some of us who will be prepared, who will have water, food, who will have garments or material for making garments to share with others. But those of you who are listening to my words have these things in close proximity. For in sudden movement, you may not have time to go back and get it or to go and get it. Some will not. Some will be encouraged to just move, to act. Shelter. Be mindful of where you're going. Don't just run to someone's house or an assembly place without knowing who will be there, what would be expected when you get there, what kind of order or structures is at that central point. For many of us, O Yashar'al, we will find ourselves moving towards a central location to be gathered together from the four corners of the earth. Transportation. I want to encourage you, my brothers and sisters, to begin to know how far can you get in the car or a motorcycle or scooter or truck or bus or whatever form of transportation you have. How far can you get? Who will allow you to ride with them? How many people can ride with you? How quickly can you get to where you need to be? You see, one of the things that's going to happen first as disaster ramp up is people will run to the grocery stores for food and supplies. This is a clear window for you to begin to grow together, to come together, to gather together, and move in a direction that the Almighty Father Yahuah is guiding you. Otherwise, O Yashar'al, by the time you try to go to the store and run and ramp to gather people together, congestion may have swelled so large that you cannot get things done, and or you may find yourself left behind. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, unity will come. It is necessary for us to prepare, to make preparations for movement. Do you have comfortable walking shoes or boots? Do you have water close by? Do you know how to filter water? Are you familiar with how to take water and run it through rocks and gravel and sand and charcoal? Charcoal or either burnt trees act as charcoal. Layer it. Look and search. You have the technology. Search how to filter fresh water and know that there are springs which will be anointed by the hand of the Almighty Father. Water will come for Yashar'al in our transitions. But we must be mindful and know how to discern the direction that He is sending us and guiding us. Yashar'al, or Yashar'al, begin to ask questions. Where, who, when, what, how, and more. Know how to vet. Know how to ask questions on to where are we headed. And I believe there will be movement towards the state of Virginia for those on the Western Hemisphere. That includes Canada and South America. Ultimately, the gathered of Yashar'al, set apart Yashar'al, will come to the state of Virginia before going across the pond for those who will fulfill the final exodus. Yashar'al, Yashar'al, we have spoken on this. I have given my reason why I believe 2023 is the countdown. There was a great conjunction, O Yashar'al. Look it up. December 21st, 2020, the great conjunction. Look at the year 2023. Mark 400 years from that. Look at the fact that it is said that this great conjunction is believed to have occurred during the birth of Yahusha Mashiach. And it marked the time where deliverance began for Yashar'al. And I submit to you, just as there was a magnificent star at the birth of Yashar'al, Yahusha, so do we have a magnificent star once again in the month known as December 21st, 2020. A great conjunction occurred that is considered to be the likeness of when the birth of Yahusha. And 40 years ago, over 40 years ago, I experienced an encounter. Let me know that this great conjunction will mark a time where deliverance will begin. Some of you may have listened to a recording where I talked about the mountains releasing their energy, moving in the name of Yahusha. Know this, as servants of Yahuah, execute judgment, deliver messages. It will not always happen in an instant. It will not always happen right away. For consider the days of Noah. The flood reigned for many days and nights before it was complete. It did not just be fulfilled in a day. I believe the mountains have begun to move. They will release their energy gradually. Soon and very soon, the elements of climate change will prove to force movement. What are you waiting for, O Yashar'al? Do you know where to go? With whom? When? What? How? Do you have answers to the questions you need to begin preparations and movement now? For some, not so much for others. There will be those who will get it, and there will be those left behind. Let me read the following, my brothers and sisters. Weighing, examining our expectations. Truly, if you are awake in this day and age, you will understand that there are expectations, some of which we don't want to face or imagine. But when we think about it, when we pray about it, the expectations surface. We must understand, O Yashar'al, there will come times when there must be actions that lead to the fulfilling of the final exodus, that leads to martyrdom, and much more. Time waits on no one. And the time is that we witness is the time given by the Almighty Father. Time versus Hollywood, programming and conditioning. You see, in Hollywood, the programming and conditioning is if someone speaks judgment, it happens instantaneously. It happens within that 90 minutes or 60 minutes or however minutes that broadcasting. Don't think that it's going to happen on our clock, our schedule, or our time. But do not neglect to believe that we are the generation that will witness things happen in our time, the time that Yahusha has provided. Let me read the following, O Yashar'al. Genesis chapter 7, verse 12 through 14. And the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that same day, Noah, Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wives and the 3 wives of his sons with them, went into the ark. And every life form after its kind, and every beast after its kind, and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, and every bird of every spirit. You see, Yashar'al, destruction didn't happen in an instant. My brothers and sisters, there must be expectations, specifically centered around 144,000 emerging, and a great multitude to fulfill what is written in Revelation. Let me read just a portion of the 7th chapter of Revelation. Chapter 7, verse 4. And I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 sealed of all the tribes of the children of Yashar'al. If you continue from there, you'll see it named 12 tribes of Yashar'al. They must be identified, in spite of people saying race mixing have divided us and we don't know who's whom. Make no mistake, my brothers and sisters, it's not based on our comprehension and our interpretation. 12 tribes will emerge, 12,000 of each of the 12 tribes of Yashar'al, with Manasseh representing the 12th tribe, not Dan, Manasseh. Search the scriptures, O Yashar'al, and you will know that Dan is eliminated because of idol worship. And if you drop down, my brothers and sisters, you'll see in the 9th verse, and I don't have it here, it talks about a great multitude. But I want you to hear these words in the 14th verse. And I said to him, Master, you know, he said, these are those coming out of the great distress, having washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb, because they are before the throne of the Almighty One and serve him day and night in his dwelling place. He who sits on the throne shall spread his tent. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall sun strike them, nor any heat, because of the Lamb who is in the midst of the throne shall shepherd them. But go to that 9th verse and you'll see it speaks of a great multitude, O Yashar'al, and I'll bring it up again. Consider There will be intermittent movement. You will not just be beamed from one place to the next or wake up one day in another location. There will be intermittent and different destinations, movement and times of rest, gathering with more and more as the numbers enlarge. Consider Isaiah 43, 6 and 7 says, I shall say to the north, give them up, to the south, do not keep them back. Bring my sons from afar, my daughters from the ends of the earth. All those who are called by my name, whom I've created, formed, even made for my esteem. Many people will think to tell you every set apart person will be gathered from the four corners of the earth before the physical return of Yahusha HaMashiach. This is not true. Only those who have been formed for the esteem of the Almighty Father to fulfill his promise to his children before the physical return of Yahusha. Yes, Judgment Day, all will be gathered. But before then, there is the final exodus that will come before that final battle between the heathen, the Gentile, the one world leader, anti-Mashiach, and his crew. Matthew 24:9 said, then they shall deliver you up to affliction and kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations for my name's sake. You see, if all was being gathered, who's being killed? You see, these are hard words, O Yashar'al, but we will be shaped, formed. We will be trained to know how to face physical death. If that's so, if that is the direction which we receive from the Almighty One. 2 Thessalonians 2:3 said, let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first. The man of lawlessness is to be revealed, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above all called the Almighty One, what is worshipped, so that he sits as the Almighty One in the dwelling place of the Almighty One, showing himself that he is the Almighty One. My brothers and sisters, there will be a falling away. That lets you know everybody won't be gathered. We will read also in 2 Thessalonians 7th chapter, you will read that there's a restraint that prevents the lawless one from being revealed to his fullest or taking his fullest position. And I submit to you, we are that restraint. And I'm speaking of 2 Thessalonians 2:7. Yashar'al, the will of the Almighty Father will become clear. We must learn how to adjust, adapt, focus, not keep looking back on what happened, who we left behind, or who left us behind. We must discern what he's saying to us and begin to prepare, and in some cases begin to act. Many will be left behind because of disbelief or slow to response or disobedience. It doesn't mean that you're not a child of the Almighty Father. It just means that you're left behind. That earthen vessel just is not going to participate in this final exodus. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, the will of the Almighty Father, his plan is unfolding. Unfolding as I speak. Unfolding with each breath that we have. Have you? And do we? Do we continue to examine things, my brothers and sisters? Do we ask questions? Do we seek to discern the answers? Do we seek to discern between right and wrong? There's too many individuals that have come together with compromising communities, camps, assemblies, under the guise you're not going to find a perfect assembly. I'm not saying you are going to find that perfect assembly, but I am saying you will find that assembly that strive together in unity to worship and obey the Almighty Father according to his teachings, his living orders, his instructions. Some are among assemblies under the guise of, I don't want to fake the assembly. They've been seduced by wicked teachers, mores, leaders, spiritual heads into just getting in any assembly that talks about Yashar'al. That is not true. That is not correct. The scripture is saying, do not forsake the assembling together of the saints. It's speaking about obedient ones, individuals that are called and drawn by the Almighty Father, pursuing set apartness in unity and might and strength. If you're spending time with a compromising group with excuses that you can't find one better, that time you're spending there is taking up the oxygen that you could use to be developing your senses to move to where you're supposed to be. We, O Yashar'al, we must continually examine all things to adjust and adapt as end times ramp up. My brothers and sisters, we see examples where Yashar'al, where individuals had to choose wisely the side that they would take. Every side is not a correct side. If there's difference that's contrary to Scripture, if you are following a group because of one been patting himself on the back, tooting his own horn, and that is what drew you to him, are you following a group because of the way they dress or because they're large in numbers? You may be finding yourself in the wrong place. Choose your side wisely. Pray, O Yashar'al. Study the Scriptures and seek the life in them. Seek to understand and learn how to vet. Know what to do in the event that you're by yourself until you're gathered or linked with those who share the same likeness and set apartness as it must be according to the Almighty Father. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, the time is now to choose yourself. Are you going to spend time running around trying to find the brother, sister, mother, father, when end times ramp up? Or would end times trigger you to say, okay, it's time for me to begin to move in that location? I might meet up with that loved one, I may not. The time is now to prepare emotions, O Yashar'al. Don't spend a lot of time grieving, hurting, or frantically searching, not knowing what to do. Prepare, ask questions, discuss with those whose eyes are open, whose ears can hear and understand. Yashar'al, also remember the ability to manage emotions is critical. Things to consider: massive destructions, widespread death, being among those delivered or among those left behind, or watching individuals being left behind. We must manage our emotions by turning and focusing on the Almighty Father and knowing that these earthen vessels have their appointed time. Know that man doesn't live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Almighty Father. Know that martyrdom will come and more. Managing our emotions. My instruction to you, Yashar'al, is when you find yourself overwhelmed, focus. Ask yourself, where is the Almighty Father directing me to go? Which direction is he pointing me? Who is he telling me to listen to? Who is he telling me to speak to? End time schedules and timelines exist and are different for many. We will discern our assignments, O Yashar'al. We will learn how to. Sure, there will be those who will not. But we must prepare to make the moves with precision. Discuss these matters. Ask questions on the matters that are different, Yashar'al. Let's search the Scriptures with a mind and purpose to worship and obey the Almighty Father with more precision. Let us choose what's right. Preparations and movement have begun. It will come to your doorstep, O Yashar'al. Are you being prepared? Do you know when to move? And when it happens suddenly, do you know what to do? Pray, O Yashar'al. Have these discussions. Know when the triggers are pulled for you to move in specific directions. Know which direction to go. Know how to navigate through these end times. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, clothing, water, food. Know your directions, or at least be close to someone that knows how to navigate between east and west, and north and south. Know how to discern which direction the Almighty Father is taking you. There are those you might leave behind or you may be separated from, and you'll meet up with them later. If you're busy constantly spending all your hours trying to find out which direction they went and where are they, you might find yourself left behind. Be prepared to make individual decisions and collective decisions. There will be those, sure, there'll be those moving together in unison as directed. But there will be also individuals that saying, the Most High has drawn me, and you will find yourself being gathered among many who are set apart. But not all will be, O Yashar'al. Preparations and movement. Begin the discussion. I encourage your questions, your comments, your discussions, O Yashar'al. Do not hide from the realities of what's happening. Do not trust that the news will give you everything you need to know about the signs of the times. Who is aware of how nearly 60%, if not more, of the United States is facing extreme and abnormal drought? What is the fruit of drought? Less foods. What do you see on your grocery store shelves regarding food? Are they getting empty where you're at? The scriptures tell us about times where the Almighty Father let it rain in some places and not another. The scriptures tell us about two individuals who will roll back the clouds and hold back the rain for the purposes of disciplining Yashar'al. And to the non-believer, to the non-brother or sister, vengeance and wrath comes. To the brother or sister, when we see this, know that the earthen vessel will either be recharged with water and food, be moved, or will still face physical death. But it is sleep to the set-apart children of Yahuah. My brothers and sisters, the realities of end times are here. There's no answer while the propaganda machine, the rhetoric, the stories are being told. While people are saying what's going to happen and soon this will happen and this is happening. Who's giving you the instruction? Are you satisfied with your community head, your pastor, your deacon, your bishop, your spiritual influencer? Are they giving you the instructions you need to build up strong, sound, discerning decisions as it relates to what must be done? And as you come together with those who share the same drawing power that you or more, are they sharing with you how to adapt, how to ask questions? Did you come across the right group or the wrong group? Do you know when to continue on or when to take a sigh of relief as you move with the groups that are being gathered by the Almighty Father? Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, my words are repetitive, are redundant. Just like a siren, an alarm will go over and over until it's no longer needed. Look around, O Yashar'al. Things aren't getting better. Things will never return to the way they used to be. The sooner we realize that and realize what we're supposed to do, we can begin to find ourselves yielding and being forged together as the Almighty Father draws us. On that note, O Yashar'al, stay tuned. There's much more to be said regarding the final Exodus. Some are experiencing time to move now. There are ways to move intermittently. Begin your journey. Don't get caught up in congestion. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't set a high bar for your proof such that when it comes, you can't get to where you believe you should be or desire to go. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, let us lean into the discussion of preparations and movement. With whom, where, how, what resources to take or what things to leave behind. Prepare to witness unity, O Yashar'al. And as I speak, this might sound commercialized, but for such a time as this, there are some things that cost money, services, resources. If you would like to financially support a mission that will contribute towards the gathering of Yashar'al, you may do so by using the Cash App, White Robes Family, $ White Robes Family, or contact me for more details, O Yashar'al. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters. Some may say, oh, when you put that cash tag, are you commercializing like some of these others? Make no mistake, I believe all that the Almighty Father will accomplish and what tools he will use to accomplish it will come to be. I believe he hardens hearts and softens hearts. I believe he directs and orders. I believe he refines us and shapes us to accomplish the things that he has set forth before us. On that note, my brother, my sister, end times are upon us. Less than 3 years to come together in unity. What will you do? What are you doing? What discussions are you having regarding the final Exodus, regarding these end times, regarding the uncertainty that is ramping up? Hear, O Yashar'al, and make wise decisions. On that note, I say to you, be encouraged. The hand of the Almighty Father is rising before us, and he will fulfill all promises he has made to his children. Be encouraged, Yashar'al. My name is Symmanayah, and I come to you in the name of Yahusha as your brother, as a family member to the set-apart awakening nation of Yashar'al. On that note, I say to you, my brother, my sister, trust. If stations come down, if messages come down from someone, trust the Almighty Father's word. If I'm speaking words of life, trust Isaiah 55, 10, and 11. Isaiah 55, 10, and 11. It lets us know that the words that are ordered by the Almighty Father will not return to him empty or void, but they will do what they were set out to do and designed to do. The words of instructions will come to you, O Yashar'al, individually and collectively. We will see the emergence of the 144,000 in great multitude. On that note, let me conclude and say, Shalum.